Coming up on this episode of the KickCast, a board game where you need to acquire properties to win, a touchpad that morphs as you use it, and a great way of learning on how to build robots. I mean, come on, robots! So sit back and relax. It's time for the KickCast. Hey everybody, it is time for another episode of the KickCast, the podcast where we go out and find you cool projects and bring them back and let you know if you should backtrack or sack them. I am one half of the show, Ktdata, and joining me is a man who every single semester goes out with the mission to mold these new minds, excite them, enrich them, educate them, and show them the world of new media, that or scare the living lights out of them. The one and only Drew Tyler. How you doing today, Drew?
I'm a scaring the lights out of him. I'm doing good. 2 days into the semester, and I've already had 3 people drop classes, so I'm doing it right. I get serious with my stuff.
Yeah, the funny thing is, part of me always thinks like, man, one of these days I should just like register for one of his classes and be that guy who's just sitting in the back and like looks like he's sleeping through the whole thing, and then all of a sudden just like pop out these projects and everybody's like, what's going on?
This guy, what? I've got a couple that are heckling already from the back, and I'm like, yes, I know you from previous experience, you know, whether we've engaged. So one of them was my intern for a while, and it's like, it's okay to just sit back there and be a normal student. You don't have to show everybody that, hey, I'm buddies with the teacher. I can make a joke. Just let me be. It's my stage. Anyway. It's all cute.
See, I'd be the one who's just like, I'm going to show everybody off, but be the most unsuspecting person.
You'd show it in your work. Yes,
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
I mean, that's usually what I try to do anyways on there, you know. Just imagine the first time you introduce everybody to the TriCaster, I just plop down, start switching everything, and yeah, sheep.
I'm gonna throw the sheep in tomorrow's show. I'm gonna do it.
Oh, I love the sheep.
We're live streaming tomorrow all night on our TriCaster, so I will throw in a sheep cut just for you.
Yeah, I mean, no one understands that unless they have a TriCaster. And I think some people who own it don't even know that.
I know. Look for the sheep edit. It's awesome.
It's amazing.
So what are we doing tonight? Let's make the show.
So, you know, before we go into our projects, and we have some amazing projects. I think you will like the one that I picked. It seems to be straight up your alley.
I'm ready.
But before we do that, let's go into kind of some of the news on there. So, Drew, you know, I love playing board games when you have very little time, but when you do, you probably like playing board games, right? You play board games with your family?
Yeah, no, I love to play like Settlers of Catan, and my sister and brother-in-law play a lot, so anytime we go up there, we'll play like DC Heroes and some of those types of cards.
So you're playing deck building games, aren't you?
It's a little decky, yeah.
Yeah, because if you're playing the DC deck building card games by Cryptozoic on there, I actually have a copy over here. On there, but
it's a fun one.
Yeah. So, but board gaming, I've noticed this in Utah. It's pretty big on there, and not only are there a lot of board gamers out there are some great game designers out there. You know, just guys who are just tinkering with ideas, on there. And Hasbro, you know, they make some of the more well-known board games out there.
Yeah.
They have partnered up with Indiegogo to create what they are calling the Hasbro Gaming Lab on there. What they're doing is actually starting from this week, or actually Sunday, they are letting people actually send in entries for game ideas that you've designed on there. And, you know, the grand prize winner will win $10,000 and a trip to Hasbro headquarters to work out your game development stuff. So the way they're actually doing this is you submit your idea to them on there by September 30th. That's your deadline. September 30th on there, and then they'll review all of them. They'll pick 5 of them and launch Indiegogo projects on Indiegogo for and have people promote it. So you run the campaign. Any money that you raise, you keep so that you can use for your project on there. So the grand prize winner wins an extra 10 grand on top of whatever they raise during the campaign, and you get to go to Hasbro HQ, work with guys who, you know, professional game builders to make your party, and the requirement, it has to be a party game. So like Cards Against Humanity, Apples to Apples, what's that apple? There's that banana one, the Bananagrams one, stuff.
Yes, I'm very good at that one.
Lots of games like that on there. So, by December 3rd, they're going to find out a winner. So if you're listening to this, you have a little under a month to get your idea submitted on there for the Hasbro Game Lab. I think this is a great idea. Because one of the biggest things you find on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, crowdfunding sites in general are board games. I actually just barely got.
They do well.
I just barely got our Sakura Heirloom Edition.
Right.
Yeah, that was handmade. We had the creator on the show, and he ended up hand making like 500 of like the deluxe edition games on there, and I got mine. I don't know if it was 500, but it was a lot.
A lot, right?
To make my hand on there. So, and that's kind of big. You go on Board Game Geek. Every other ad is like, come find us on Kickstarter. I go to my local gaming store. There are ads for crowdfunding games that they're putting on there. So I think this is a great idea, and a good way to kind of promote this. And I'm surprised that Hasbro of all places is doing this, because you expect it from some of the smaller studios.
Right.
So yeah, this is a great idea on there. Okay.
I love it.
Yep. So you probably won't have to worry about this during the Hasbro competition, but there are times, and you guys heard my situations. Actually, to tell you the truth, I've only been burnt twice on crowdfunding projects. It's crazy.
They're
right?
big burns, but they're big burns.
Not one of them was only $20.
Okay.
The other one, supposedly they're sending it. I finally got an email back, and they apologize, and supposedly it's shipping out at the end of this week or early next week. I'll believe it when I see it. But if I do get them, I have a theory that I'll have to share with you guys that I think what they're doing on there. But on CrowdCrux, they actually have an article on 6 ways to avoid crowdfunding scams. And these are things that I actually do inherently that I don't think about. But I'm like, these are things you should think about. One of them, Google the project and the creator. If they have been developing this game for 10 years, more than likely they've posted on like Board Game Geek or a user group somewhere to help people to figure it out. And you can learn their past projects, things, if they were successful, if they weren't successful, if they have full-time job somewhere. If they've been sketchy, you'll probably find at least something that's a little bit noticeable about it. 2, pinpoint unrealistic promises on this. I won't lie. One of the things that I actually got burnt on, and it was actually something we featured on the show, but it was very, very early on. Like I'm talking about episode 4 of the KickCast on there, where I was still fairly new to crowdfunding.
Yeah, but it's way back.
On there is unrealistic promises, and that's something they actually did. One of them is the creator hasn't correctly identified the cost of fulfilling the rewards, is overstating the value. And then 2, the promise is too good to be true, and the project is preying on your imagination or hopes on what it could be on there. So on there. So that's another one. Number 3, verified need-based campaigns. You see a lot of people saying, hey, I need medical this, that, and that. There are ways to kind of figure out if they're lying or not on there, because oddly enough, people put a lot of crap on Facebook, and you can find out a lot about people on Facebook without even being friends with them.
That's true. It's pretty simple to hunt that down.
Yep. Number 4, this is one thing I always highly, highly suggest, is look into other backers. Comment sections are amazing for this. They are amazing, and that's why if you start a crowdfunding site, make sure you have a comment section. Look to see what other people are saying, because some people actually, will donate the bare minimum to a project just to comment and warn people about it on there. So there are good souls out there. On there. Number 5, search project images. We kind of covered this a couple episodes ago, where there are a lot of Chinese-made products that people now are just going to like Alibaba and stuff, saying, "Hey, I need to order 500 of these. Let's kickstart it and slap our sticker on it and call it good," right? And then number 6 is report it. If you found a scam, they give you some places like, I didn't even know about this Kick scam. There's a website that is totally dedicated to Kickstarter scams.
Wow.
On their Gizmodo, they love finding dirt like this. Kickstarter forum, crowdfunding forum, and ripoff report. These are places where you get the word out. That's where a lot of people frequent on there, and those are good ideas. You think these are solid ideas, Drew, or am I just
these make a lot of sense. Like, a lot of people need to probably be more, I don't know, skeptical, but they should be more involved, or at least more aware of what they're getting into.
Yeah, because keep in mind, this is your money, and the crowdfunding site is not liable for any of this. And what's crazy about it is I actually one of the crowdfunding projects that I just recently backed on there, they were showing the math on that, and I think they raised on Kickstarter. It said they raised $3 million. It's the Z Snap.
Is that
Yeah.
snaps?
And then you saw how much Kickstarter took was like $250,000 or something like that, or
Yeah, it's about 250,000.
yeah,
Yep.
that that's a lot, and they're not liable for anything on top of that. So those are the things that you want to focus, because the crowdfunding site's going to be like, well, sorry, you're going to have to deal with the creator straight up. All right, so those are kind of good tips for avoiding scams. But we also have this is great. Is Kickstarter, they do this annually. I think this is their third or fourth now. Is they have announced the 2015 Kickstarter Film Fest.
Yes.
On there. So previous years it has only been in Brooklyn or LA. You know, you can't really attend. This year, 32 theaters are participating in it.
That's a bigger deal. And one of them is near us?
Yes, one of them is actually in Salt Lake City. So if you live anywhere around Salt Lake City, Utah, on there on October 15th, hopefully, I know I'll be there. You're going to be there.
I'm
too,
looking at my calendar. I think I'm ready to be there. I can be there.
So we're going to be there for at the Broadway Theater in Salt Lake City for the Kickstarter Film Festival on there. And you know, if you listen to the show, come let us know. We'll hang out and watch these movies. And they have some great documentaries. Like,
yeah, I do.
Their first one is actually made by Jeremy Clement, who everybody knows from Flight of the Conchords.
Yes.
One of the funniest shows HBO has ever made, and one of the few HBO shows that I don't think there's like grotesque nudity in all the scenes.
Yeah, this is interesting for HBO.
Yeah.
And the name of the film that he made is What We Do in the Shadows. So I don't know.
It's about 3 vampires that navigate the complexities of modern life.
That explains the shadows.
It's going to be hilarious. I love that on there, and they have other great shows on there. So I hope we'll see you out there. And if you don't live by us, go check out Kickstarter's website. See if there's a theater near you. It's free, so if you're cheap, it's free. Can't do much better than that.
Right.
There. So that is the Kickstarter Film Festival. All right, Drew. Let's get into the projects. And
1, 2, and 3.
And I know this first project is something that you may have always wanted to do. Like, have you ever had aspirations to be a pimp?
No. What? No. No, I have not ever aspired to.
You don't want to be a Mac Daddy, just have a stable of hose.
Okay. When Crisscross was jamming back in 94, 93, right? Give it up. What is it? Crisscross will make you jump. Daddy Mac will make you jump. That's when I thought I could be a Mac Daddy. Then I found out what a Mac Daddy was, and I changed my mind. So no, I've never had.
All right, so so our first project will allow you to sort of be a pimp, but in a safe environment and not get arrested or shot.
Protective pimping.
So our first project of the night is Pimp, the board game. Speaking of board games.
Oh my goodness. Are you sure this isn't a sack of the week? This is a real legit.
This is a legit game. These guys have been developing this game for over 10 years, and it's actually been a friend favorite on there. But when they had developed the game 10 years ago, crowdfunding didn't exist, and they're like, well, I don't have $20,000 to go print 300 of these boards and stuff.
And Hasbro isn't back in Pimp the Board.
Yeah. I don't think that's passed. So in Pimp board game, let's see if I can say this with a straight face. It's a game where you are an up and coming pimp, and you're just trying to make it out in the world, right? To become the Mac Daddy of all pimps, you got to work your way up by acquiring properties.
Properties, by which you mean
other names, maybe pimps? Working ladies. Or as attributed to as a hoe on there. Every time I say hoe in the terms of that, I always think of the Jeopardy clip that you can find on YouTube where there's like Ken Jennings and a whole bunch of them, and the clue was like the street name, and it was something like the street name of a working lady, and all these guys were saying things, and they all got it wrong.
And the answer was Ho?
It wasn't Ho either. It was
Oh, it wasn't even Ho.
It was something else on there. And hearing Alex Trebek say that was hilarious.
Okay, that's funny.
On top of these other guys who you know their IQs are like off the scale. So,
right.
So
think of something that they can know. Dirty things. That's funny.
Yeah, and the goal of this game is whoever has the most money at the end wins the game on there. It's a pretty basic game in terms of mechanics, so it's not like Settlers of Catan where you got to go place minions and stuff, or those Euro style games. It's kind of just almost Monopoly like, where you roll the dice, you move that many spaces forward, but on each space there are kind of different things. Sometimes you got to go rob a bank, or you get some weapons and stuff, and then the ones that you want to land on are the names of the working girls on there, and depending on the situation you may have to roll an extra dice and get your Mac on to convince her to work for you. You gotta
roll a dice for that.
Yeah, that, or if you land on a working girl that another person that's playing with you has already got on their crew, you have to first kind of pay, and then you can actually fight the other person for possession.
I cannot believe somebody made this.
So obviously this is not a game for the kids on there, but if you're fans of Cards Against Humanity and kind of those games that are a little more adult oriented, I think this fits in perfectly, and it's fun. It's funny on a level on there. And Lisa Rum said, "I've backed this game." I haven't backed this game quite yet. What do you think about this, Drew?
For me, this is a track. I think it's very entertaining, and I'm not sure what other words to call it, but it certainly sounds entertaining and creative. Could very well be hilarious. I think I might like to watch somebody play, but I'm going to watch it. I mean, it's got the 28 days to go, and so I'm going to keep an eye on it and see if those 10 backers multiply and if it catches on, because I can see this being very much a fun game, especially at a frat. That just sounds like a fraternity game.
And to be honest, they actually say in their description, "We have created this morally reprehensible board game," so they know it's bad.
So they know. Well, if you throw in enough dough here, you can actually create a Ho catchphrase, choose a Ho photo, and at $1,000 you can name a Ho. You can just pick a name, and it'd be like Sassy Sally or something.
I'd be like Glimmer the
Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash.
It would be like Glimmer the glorious gal of of 4th Street or something.
I don't even know what to say. So I'm tracking this one because I think it's hilarious, but I'm not. Wow, I'm just wow.
Yeah, if you it's not for everybody, so it takes a kind of set of person. For me, it's actually a back, because I laughed. I laughed pretty hard. Laughing. It does remind me against Cards Against Humanity on there, but I still kind of want to see. I think there was like a 16-minute gameplay video that I didn't watch, because 16 minutes and we're on the internet. Says the guy who makes a 30-minute show. On there, but I liked it. I mean, like, look at the pieces and stuff that are actually pretty well designed and placed. I mean, Drew, can you even name what this is right here next to the boombox in the car?
Boombox? Oh, it's a bong. Is it?
Yes, that is actually a bong.
Yay! Drew wins it! I don't even know what to say. Like, it looks like an upside down flashlight until I realized it could be. Yeah, I got it. I did it.
But yeah, and the reason I actually think it's a back is they've actually planned this out pretty well. The mechanics have been fleshed out over 10 years on there, and they've actually gotten a quote from a manufacturer, and that's where most of the cost is actually going. Is about $13,000 is going just to get the board game made on there.
What's it? Okay.
And then $2,000 in shipping. So they have it actually fairly well developed on there, and it seems like a fun game. I like I said, it wouldn't be a game for everybody, but it's one of those games you go to a party and you see people playing, and that's where people kind of gather around on there. So that is actually a back for me on there. So on to our next project, Drew. Let's get our minds out of the gutter and
get
actually
into high tech, high road.
Go into something that may actually have us be more productive in life.
Yes. Let me take you to project number 2 for the night, and this one is going to be something that you still use your hands, but in a wholesome and good way. So I chose for my project tonight something called the Sensal Morph, and this project is interaction evolved is their tagline, but the Morph by this company is a pressure sensitive multi-touch input device. We've seen a lot of these types of input devices, and I think you and I have covered several on this show of new ways to interact with computers. And we have trackpads, mouse and keyboards. We've talked a little bit about things you slip on your hand or on your arm, or different ways to make things move and go. I really like the Morph, because it's much like a trackpad, but it has the force touch. Well, okay, sorry, that's probably copyrighted. I shouldn't even say force
Apple's
touch.
Going to shut us down. Thanks a lot, Drew. Thanks a lot.
I have a force touch right here. Look, if I push hard enough, it changes. So what I love about this trackpad that they've built is that the Morph will let you do multi fingers, right? So it has so many sensors on it that you can touch with more than 5 fingers. It has like thousands. In fact, I lost the number, but it's the... Do you remember where it is? Where'd it go? 230,000 or something, like little sensors to track every little thing, which is brain numbing.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, this kind of reminds me of those what do you call them trackpads on there, but it has a lot more flexibility.
Yeah.
I mean, because you look at these little templates that you can actually put on. It's a DJ pad right there, keyboard.
And they're calling these, I'm trying to remember what they're calling those things. These
overlays.
are their overlays. And so not only can you like touch the pad itself, but once you throw one of these overlays on there, it will it sticks to the board. And then like he's using a brush in that image right there it can sense all of that stuff. And so when you throw in an overlay, it knows which overlay is there, and it knows which way you're twisting a knob or running a slider or whatever it is. So it's using not just like location on the pad, but actually how hard you're touching. And so I remember when I was a kid, they came out with the Casio type keyboards that were actually like pressure sensitive. So like instead of just
so it's like an actual piano. Yeah,
it became like piano notes. So this to me is kind of that idea where and again, I don't think it's a surprise. This has existed, that we could measure force and how much you're pushing onto something. But what they're building here is a fantastic addition for artists, for creatives, and even for gaming. And they list through a whole series of things that they see it working for, between art and music and just making things. They have a guy in their video that's using this morph pad with multiple fingers to manipulate a robot that he had built, so it would turn with him and pick things up like he was picking things up. I just like this idea of having another way to interact with computers. They especially as Apple's come out with Force Touch, then obviously there are going to be a lot of apps and other things coming out that will use that interaction as like a different UI method. Instead of just tapping in places, you can double the space or more than double by tapping and holding. So I think that's really cool. These guys are probably setting themselves up nicely to be able to work with and interact with the same apps that are going to come out in the near future using Force Touch. And they're releasing a full, what's it called? API. Yeah, the usable APIs. So anybody can design for this and say, okay, let's put these together.
So, yeah, you can integrate it into all your apps and stuff. And I like this because I've actually been following the touchpad world for quite some time. I mean, I own a Wacom pad. I actually use it at work for that, and part of it is back in the days, and people don't think about this because we've become so much into a touch world that you don't think about it, but pressure sensitivity on a touchpad has evolved so much, because back in the day, it was just almost like us pressing a button on the touchpad, and that was it.
Right.
Now we've gotten to the point where it can detect minute regions where you're at, so you can set up these hot zones. That's why those overlays work so well on there. Plus, being able to do that pressure sensitivity on there is amazing, because that's what makes the difference between playing music on a computer and sometimes on the real instrument, is because you have that pressure sensitivity to make a note a little bit softer, a little bit louder. Whereas back in the day, a lot of the computers, you press a button, it plays that note.
Bam, bam,
Same.
yeah.
Yeah. on there, so it adds a little more life to it.
Loving this. For me, it's a back. They've got all kinds of connectivity to it: Bluetooth, USB, other things. I love the API. I love that you can kind of stick them together. They've made it very pretty. Little LEDs light up wherever you're touching, so you know that you've got contact. It's about $250, I think, is where they're at right now. The early birds were only at $200. Those are all gone. They are well over their goal. They wanted 60,000 to kind of make it work, and now they're up to almost 300,000 with another month to go. So I love it. I love the idea. So I'm backing this one all the way to the bank. I've always wanted a Wacom tablet. I love being able to have pressure and variation in my sketching and arting. So I'm excited that they're taking this to all kinds of levels of interaction. What do you think?
Yeah, for me, it's a back too, because I mean, I'm looking around at my studio right now. I have just into my computer alone 3 different input devices. I have a MIDI board just to do all the switching. I have a keyboard to do typing, and I have a mouse on that. Wouldn't it be nice if I could just have, one of them right here and just switch the overlays in between when I needed it? It saves space for one thing. And it would make everything a lot more simpler, where I don't have to kind of worry about those kind of things. And being able to do that, that pressure sensitivity, I could do some of the fades, like this lower to third and stuff. I might be able to control like a T-bar, so have it like half faded and stuff. That'd be cool.
Push it all the way down and push harder.
Yeah. See?
I'm excited to see how people use this type of technology as it continues to come out, how they incorporate it, add overlays, and do other things. I'm hoping this really takes off, so I'm excited about this one.
Yep. So it's a double back from us on there, and kind of going along the lines, our last project, which you guys voted. So apparently, I am the prude of the group because I picked pimp games, while you guys have decided to pick projects that will better humanity. And productivity. Our last project of the night is called the Go Box. So you're like, what? Go Box is actually a
sounds like a subscription, like loot boxes.
So it's sort of like that, but this is great. So it's a build your own robot kit on there, and it has missions that go with the kits. And what's cool about this is every month after, they send you a new mission kit, where you get a new piece of hardware, and you get a mission that you have to use that new piece of hardware to help achieve these missions. The whole goal is to actually teach you more about building robots, and you actually build a robot on that. So that's what's cool about it. And the core of the system is this little car-ish robot called the Go Pi Pro, which is actually a Raspberry Pi enabled robot kit. So not only do you have a robot, a Raspberry Pi is one of the most flexible things that you can get these days for just different kind of homemade projects and stuff on there. So after you get your first kit, and this is great for kids. I mean, I think your kids would love this, Drew, and you're secretly teaching them how to code and how to build a robot and stuff.
We talked about this today
on there, where it comes in with that. So you have your first mission, and then every month they send you a new sensor or I guess it's called a shield, a shield that you hook up there, and then they're like, this mission right here, and like, all right, so how are we going to get this mission working with our robot? And what's great about it is, since it actually is running on Raspberry Pi, it is compatible with many different languages. I mean, you can use Python, Node, Node.js, Go, and then they have this language called Scratch, which is great because I love this. Scratch is designed for younger kids to kind of learn programming topics, but in a more visual way. So you're not talking about lines of code. So you can see on the screen right here where there are little like bubbles that kind of hook together, and you can put them together, and that will control how the robot moves along the line. And it's just drag and drop. They're not writing anything on there. You're just kind of connecting them together. So it's almost like Legos making it work. And as you know, I don't call myself a full-time programmer, but I know enough where it's teaching you concepts on there that you can actually apply later on in programming. So I actually love this idea because it's educating, but it's keeping you fun. It's kind of a mission. Those missions, it's task-based on there, and I like the monthly subscription to it because then you got something to look forward to every month. Because how many times have you kind of bought a kit and you're like, okay, let's do this, and then you do it for a day and then you're done.
Boom. Gone. Yep.
But when you have when you have another mission come in, you're like, look, it came in the mail. Let's do this.
You're gonna grab that car off the shelf and you're gonna go and try and figure out how to make it happen. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I love it on there. So for me, it's back. What do you think about this as an educator? Is this something that?
Oh, totally. This is something that grabs me. This is a back. Just the fact that they have so many opportunities to kind of put adults and kids together in the same, I guess, on the same mission to get people to work together to try and accomplish something. I think this would be a super fun thing to do with my girls, like have them understand some of this and know that they could. I mean, there's so much in the future for them to do programming and coding and to control the physical objects around them with computer programs. This is fantastic. And the new sensors every month. Imagine, like, after a couple of months of having all these multiple sensors, you can start to find different new ways to make them each work together. And I love it.
Yeah, that's the great thing. And those missions, they build on top of each other. So you'll be like, all right, so you remember last month we learned how to make the robot go left and right. Now we're going to have a light sensor. So we need to have it go from a dark room to where there's sun or stuff, and just like program it like that. That is, I love this. I don't even have kids and I want this set. It's like,
right.
Can I back this and borrow your kids once a month?
Uncle KT's coming up. We're gonna play with the Go Pig Go. Let's try this.
We're gonna build a robot, and the next thing you know, you got a robot that has a flamethrower in your garage, and we're gonna go win Robot Wars or something like that, or BattleBots, and duke it out.
This is super fun.
So yeah, this is back. I love this idea. On there, yeah, and I think I might back this.
Yeah, I'm looking at the levels, and this is where I'm trying to figure out. Like, you have to have the robot with the Raspberry Pi. Do they have levels with both the robot, the Pi, and the subscription?
Yes, they do. I think most of them have it on there because the robot on there, they have lower levels where if you are, because the Go Pi Go was a previous Kickstarter project on there. So if you already have those, they have lower levels on that. But for the higher levels, they give you the Go Pi Go and a 12-month subscription on there. I love this idea, and it gets me excited.
This is cool
on there. So like this is definitely a back on there. I mean, this would make a great and what's great is they fully support the education. So there's videos and stuff. You have questions you can post on the forums, and people will actually help you too. So you're not doing this alone. You have a whole community behind you that's helping you.
That's cool.
So
that's cool. I'd have. Yep, I'm in.
That is definitely a go box. All right, so now it is time for the sack of the week. Look at those production values right there. All right, so have you looked at this before?
I'm not.
No, okay.
Not seen this at all.
So I found this. It's called geekfo.com. The world's best search engine. When you hear the world's best search engine, who do you think of?
The guys that just changed the logo today after 16 years.
Technically, they just changed the typeface.
Okay, yes, technically. But yes, it's Google. That's all I think of when I think of a search engine. Second to Bing, Yahoo, but I've never thought of Geekfo. Weird.
Yeah, Yahoo doesn't even do it on search anymore. Bing does it.
Right.
On there. Okay, so this is the description. A free search engine that searches everywhere, everything, everywhere. Plus focus searches for videos, pictures, and product reviews. So you're like, okay, that describes a search engine on there.
Right, that is a search engine.
But so this, let me go. This is their backstory on there. First of all, their video, it doesn't say anything at all. Their video, literally on this video. First of all, seriously, neon green? No. Neon green, no. I'm playing their video, and I have audio running, might I add to you. There's no audio on this. It's just entirely
screen capture.
Just a screen capture, and this is what their site looks like. This is very poorly designed.
Oh yeah,
I could put this. I could put this together on there. On there. So this is the story of it, and so Geekfo started when one of our geek moms asked, "How do you how do you know that?" He answered, "I looked it up on the internet. Notice no editing. There's lowercase i's in here." She then asked, "Where did you find it?" "I have been Google searching it for the past week." He replies, "S." That's not correct. Well, you keep looking at the search results that have been paid to pop up first. She goes on about how do I search the way you do, when he then goes into house to search the way he learned when the internet first came out. Man, I'm having a hard time reading this. But the mom was lost, so he said to her, "Give me a little time. I will set you up with a simple to use unbiased search engine."
Oh, so this is a gift. It's a gift to his mom that he built, or a mom.
But
his mom.
So what they want to do is they want to have a search engine that gives unbiased searches that's not based on advertising and stuff, because they're paranoid that you see the ads on Google and you're like, well, that's not gonna be jazzing well, right? On there, because those top results have to be paid. First of all, no. Google clearly states the paid ads because they're required to by law in many, many different countries on there. But if you actually go to Geekfo right now and
it's alive and well,
you do a search, notice that they are using the Google custom search API. So
so what really
their results are going through Google already.
All they're doing is skimming off the paid for ads, and they're giving you a list of things that come up
from Google. If you Google the same thing, you would get those results on there.
I don't
on there. So that's one thing. So it's a little counterintuitive on what they're saying, especially since they don't know what their message is.
But that's because I don't even know what to say.
Because if you look in their updates, then they post something like this. Again, remember, we do this site for fun and simple use of search, not to try and be the next Google. But didn't you say you wanted to be better than Google on there?
It's just for fun.
Yeah.
Just for us.
So so there's conflicting information right there. And then the next part is they want to put this on their own servers, except I don't think they understand how a search engine works, because for you to run a search engine, you need to run a program that are these robots called crawlers that will visit every single website on the internet, single website on the internet to index it. That is the only way you can do it. That's why there's not a lot of search engines out there, because it is a difficult thing to do on there. And moving to your own servers, they're probably still going to be relying on this. So, I mean, there's a deluge of things. One, I don't think they did the research, their market research to find if there's actually a true need to this. And two, their implementation is a little sketch.
Moms need it. Okay, moms need it.
I don't know. You think your mom could be able to run a site that looks like this? Like, would she know where to go to search?
She'd click on the elephant. The first thing, she just click on the elephant. What's this? Yeah, this is. I love that the idea is like I learned how to search the internet when it first came out. Before we had Google, we had to know these things. So I'm going to embed Google in another web page.
Yeah, and it's not done well. It's obviously not edited well, because you guys saw me struggling to read this, and the text is like right in front of me. On there, where that does that. You know, I don't think I trust these guys to make a search engine if you can't take the time to properly parse your English properly so somebody can read it. How are we gonna get?
We're so rough.
How are we gonna get our search results?
Hey, it's a labor of love. Let these boys be. They're just enjoying the time.
And like, and their tiers are bad too. They have a $5 tier that you get a special thanks from creators and an automatic sign up for special information, plus Geekfo window decals. How much you want to bet most of that $5 is going to go to that decal?
Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to happen. Yeah,
on there. So it didn't really. They don't plan really well for this.
No.
And so it kind of just like, $30 for a t-shirt. These are things that you need to kind of plan out before you launch on there and try to understand. So this is why
I wish them luck.
Yeah, this is why it's a sack. Just because I'm a little. This is me doing my research and knowing a little bit of background. You know, like we said in our news article, is to kind of do this. And based on my technical knowledge, I can't say I'm an expert in writing programming or anything, but as far as I know, this is not a really good implementation, and that's why I wouldn't put my money where it is.
And it makes sense. I think you're okay with that.
Yep. All right.
So there's our sack.
Yep, that is our sack. So normally we'd be ending the show right now, But Drew, did you know
we have something to do?
Since our last episode, we had a giveaway on there.
Oh, that's right. We have lots of cool stuff to share
on there. So lucky. So I had, normally we'd only give out like one prize pack, but no, I went all out. We're giving out 5 different prize packs.
Fantastic. So I hope everybody's tuned in to watch this.
Yes. So congratulations to, actually, this is one of my buddies that I met at Nerdtacular. Congratulations to Old School Mark. You have won the super mega prize pack. So you will be getting all of this mailed to you.
Excellent. Old School Mark.
And yeah, one thing that, and I'll put it in a letter to Mark, is make sure you look in this Pebble thing, because I put in a code for Same Sex Mary's album on there, on the back.
Cool.
So, and then, 3 other people are actually winning the mini prize pack, which is a copy of the jazz covers of Marvel and DC on there, and a copy of To the Moon by Marcus Rocco with the Crazy Activity books on there. So 3 people are winning that. So congratulations to Laser Norm, our regular, who's stuck with us almost since the beginning.
Yes, Laser. Congratulations.
A Matt B and Bill, or Kados as I know him online, gets all that. And then last but not least, a Joseph L is actually getting 1 copy of the jazz album for the Marvel and DC song. So I will be emailing all of you guys to get your addresses on there, and I will mail those out for you. And thank you guys so much for supporting us. And even if you guys didn't actually, to tell you the truth, only 5 people won. So everybody who entered won something.
That's congratulations. Pays to pay attention to what we're doing
on there. So, if you don't want to miss out on the next contest, make sure you follow us on Twitter at KickCast, or at Night20, or at Ktdata, or on our Facebook page, facebook.com/KickCast. If you have ideas for projects, sacks of the week, anything, we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email, kickcast@ktdata.net. We always love it when you guys come watch us live, and there's a lot of people right now in the chat room, so thank you guys.
Chat is fun. I love the chats.
Yep. Our next episode is going to be September 15th, 2015 on there, and you can find that at live.kickcast.net once I fix the embed code. But that will work. If you saw any of these projects where you're like, hey, I want to back Pimp the board game because, I when I grew up, I wanted to be Pimp, but now I'm working for the post office or something. You can head on over to kickcast.net for the show notes on there. Drew, do you got anything plugged before we go?
If you're around in the chat, join me tomorrow on Twitch with the Little Big Cast crew. We're going to start about 8:30 Mountain Time, going all night long, playing scary games. So I'm kind of excited for that. But that's
Hayden Panettiere and Ital is all I need to say, right?
Yeah, that's the fun stuff. Other thing I'll punch real quick is that on our Little Big Cast Patreon page for our supporters of Patreon, we did an extra special show we called the Faux Show, where we just released that. So if you're looking to support podcasting in general, and maybe even just my beautiful face, you can check us out on the patreon.com/littlebigcast to find more content for gaming. If you're gaming folks, then that's where you'll find lots of fun stuff. Yeah, that's it for me.
It's a great show, and people don't believe me, but I do watch every single show that's on the network.
I keep
up. And then
that's what we're doing.
Yep. All right, guys. We will see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Bye.